I mean, granted, it would be nice to, have it kind of like as I explained it before, how it'd be nice to listen to it in the background while you're just kind of doing something, because I am just talking and there isn't much really happening in the background. There's not really much happening in the video throughout. So, I mean, it's nice if you just want to listen to it in the background. It's kind of advised sometimes. So it is currently December 16th, 2024, and a lot has happened in these past 2 or 3 weeks now. A lot of eventful things, and this past week is kind of just, I've had a lot more time now, and I've decided to make another video for you. So I'm going to demonstrate it while I just navigate my usual routine after work. So in these past 2 weeks, like I said, a lot has happened and a very big setback, Okay. Oof. Okay. And this should be good. Ow. Okay. Like that. I think that's good. I just kind of have to lean in a bit. Okay, so like I said, this is like the third time I repeated it. A lot has happened in these past 2 weeks, and like I said, there was a major setback that really happened on I think it was the 7th, or maybe 10th. 10th is what it was, I remember exactly, it was the 10th. So on December 10th, I was working really, really good towards, the piloted trailer for Sorrow Shadows the Joy, the little movie I was making. And I was going really good, I was getting a bunch of clips, and I was really outlining everything, for post-production, and then even just the remaining stuff for pre-production, and it was going really good. And I I had 2 dedicated days that I did for filming, which I got a lot done, and then I was going to have a 3rd day that following week, which was quite literally the only final day I can get for scenes, at least for my school event that I had for UIL. That's what this is all for. And then, like I said, it was going to be also for YouTube, and to really get me some, a big, boost for myself, so I can get some better traction and motivation to further do more projects. It would really just push me towards, this goal that I wanted. If I, started to lose ambition, or I didn't really constrict myself with certain deadlines, or I'd kind of lose compassion for it, or just kind of the drive to really get it, not just being really nonchalant saying, oh, I'll push it off, or I'll do it some other time, something like crap like that. So on that faithful day, I had to go get it checked basically by our superintendent and our principal and everything. My teacher said, the UIL director that I had, he said it was perfectly fine as long as it just didn't focus on certain, some scenes that I thought was fine. I could just edit them out or just replace them with certain things, which I was intending to do. And then, the superintendent and principal, they met with me about the whole film, and they basically said, no. They basically said, your film is way too violent, and they basically said that it's too focused on the weapons and violence aspect. They said they didn't mind if it had a little bit of combat and physical violence every now and then, but it was too focused on the violence and too focused on the weapon aspect. Even though I did really limit the amount of weapons I had in there, considering I wanted to make it as PG-13 as I could for school, but I guess it just wasn't enough. Granted, I really did shoot myself in the foot with 2 things. And the first one was time. So granted, I was working a bunch towards it, but I really, really, really should have set more dedicated days to filming. Hold on, let's shake this. But I really should have just been taking a lot more dedicated days to just quite literally just film. Just to literally be on set, filming random scenes, needed scenes, filler scenes, literally just all kinds of scenes. Because one thing that I like to live by a lot more nowadays, that I've learned from some very important people in my life, is it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. And I really should have just been taking that more into consideration a little whiles back. but at the same time I didn't have enough for pre-production done to really outline some things. So I feel like I would have just been running, you know, like a chicken with his head cut off, you know, just not really in a good direction, really getting in good enough scenes. You know, I'd have way too many filler scenes that would take more time to really sift through and edit, really only get like maybe a minute or maybe less than a minute worth of footage. And granted, that really big minute really would have been fundamental for the pilot trailer, but at the end of the day I feel like it was a win-loss kind of thing, really. And that's when this giant deadlock of mine kind of hit, was when I started really taking into consideration when this deadline was for UIL, because initially our deadline was January 11th, I believe, or January 1st, something like that. No, it was January 11th, and our advisor, our UIL director, recommended us to turn it in by the 1st, so he can look through it and the judges could look through it, and we could do any, like, just I guess final tidbits of it, if you needed to edit some small things or change the thumbnail or maybe the title, you know, some stuff like that. So that's what I thought. That was fine, you know, that would make me have a little bit more time for December. December would have been completely dedicated, which it was, and the first part of December was really heavily dedicated to that film. But then our director does this, he pulls a he pulls a card that really just kind of stumped me, because he says that he wants it to be due by the 19th, and the 19th is very close as me making this video on the 16th, so it's 3 days from now. And I firmly believe that I could have gotten it done, or maybe I'd have been really cutting it close. I would have had to spend some even more late nights than I kind of do, but you know, I feel like I could have gotten it done if, you know, so that was the main thing first, which was that deadlock. So now I was in this really big deadlock for time, right? I had to really prioritize what I was doing on the daily, what I was prioritizing my work on. School is equally as important, because if I don't have good grades, then I can't be in UIL. If I can't be in UIL, then I don't have a project, and it's just this big chain and all that. So I really just had to prioritize and find the time to do different things, and like I said, prioritizing everything. This is future tense Lee, and I'm just here to make some kind of comments. I feel like I should specify on how my time management kind of worked a little bit. And I understand that, yeah, it may seem like I had a lot of time, a lot of days and everything, and you know, I had a fair amount of time, I would say, but mostly for the weekdays I would not have a lot of time, mostly because I think I've just described it in previous videos, but the way my schedule works is I have school, and then I have work, and then just a few hours after, and then maybe a few in between for school. But other than that, I'm mostly pretty busy throughout the week, and then some weekends I have a lot of time, and then sometimes I'm doing things, or sometimes I get a little ahead of myself and I'll tend to just say, hey, let's take a break. So, you know, granted, yeah, at some points I should have been working, and some points it's like I thought the break would be fine because I had initially so much time, as I described later, that I don't, because of this time deadlock and everything. That's pretty good. But yeah, so I'm probably going to be filming when I'm kind of at the gym. Usually nobody's there at this hour for me, so I'll probably just film there a little bit as I'm going through my exercises and everything. So back to the main subject. Back to the main subject of this time predicament that I had was, our director advised that we do it it's due by the 19th, which really put me in, like, set in stone for really time management. And he said, if you don't turn it in by the 19th, then you're going to be, he said, you're going to really be cutting it close. You know, he said that, you know, he'll be able to give you a little bit more time, but even then, that really did lock me in with a bunch of different time. Like, because I needed these last bit of scenes, I needed more literal, like, filming, so I need, like, to dedicate that. So if I asked for more time, that time wouldn't be able for me to actually film, but it would be only for like post-production, so I'd be able to edit and everything. So that was the big thing. So then I really had to dedicate the 12th. I don't get why I did this throughout the video, but there is a lot of times where I accidentally say the wrong date, or I miss the date and make it some other time, because those, like, other times that I list the dates were also significant, but for other things. So just bear with me as I make this note to reiterate. Faithful day of the 12th. that I needed that day, the 12th, and then what was it, the 15th, I could have recorded, but no one was available then. After the 12th, I even asked, but no one was available. So the 12th came around, or it was coming, right? And I really should have set it up way in advance. I really did shoot myself in the foot with that, but I really should have set the 12th up in advance, you know, just in case something like this happened, and because it would have just been perfect to get all of the scenes done and everything, and literally just, I outlined it as just literally from like sun up to sundown of just an entire day's worth of filming with my whole, you know, acting crew and kind of my production team too. So just literally get all of the scenes rather than having, you know, constant days of me asking them, hey, are you able to record? Hey, are you able to film? Hey, are you able to act? Are you able to do this, that, and the other, you know? And then some people say no, some people say yes. So it's just this big, you know, mumbo jumbo. And plus people just don't want to do that, especially when they're not getting, you know, they don't get something out of it. You know, people want something out of it. But I mean, no, hey, I mean, I get it, you know, I'd probably do the same if I'm being honest, you know. I typically don't do things that are just cause for the kindness of my heart, or just because I just like, if I like it, then I'll probably do it. And if it's something that I really enjoy and I believe that you deserve it, or I believe that, you know, what is it, that I have enough empathy, I guess, at that period of time or whatever, I'll do it. But most of the time I'm not gonna just do something for free. Like, I'm not gonna help you, like, for example, I'm not gonna help you, I mean, I have to film a movie, you know, if I wasn't ambitious about movies. If I would, you know, since I am, yes, I'd probably help you film movies just out of the kindness of my heart, because it teaches me a couple things or two, makes me resonate with a couple people. It's nice all around. But that's besides the point. Also, real quick, I apologize if my thoughts are a little bit more sporadic, except I do feel like I am talking a little bit more fluently with certain of these topics in my videos. You know, I feel like from the past couple .00 series or whatever I'm doing, it's like it's slowly getting more linear with how my thoughts are flowing and how I'm projecting myself onto the, you know, into the camera and everything, rather than just having to heavily edit and then just really going like this, you know, constantly with subject to subject. And I'm sure that's what I'm doing now, but at least it's a linear somewhat for even those. So if that makes sense. So yeah, ultra long story short, this big deadlock of time really put me in a really bad predicament. And you know, on December 12th, I managed to get a whopping 3 people for my movie, including myself, technically 4, you know, in total. But originally I had like a bunch of people. I had a bunch of people for production. I had a bunch of actors. I had a lot of people, and I lost a lot of them because they were busy or they just didn't want to. So I lost a lot, and I was really feeling the weight, just as if someone dropped an anvil on my head. So it was really heavy on me at that moment, because I lost a lot of people, and then I had to really think, how am I going to change up how am I going to fit the story if I don't have so and so and so and so, or I don't have this, that, and the other, you know. So I really had to. I'm not even kidding when I say this. It was that Friday before that Saturday, because the 12th was a Saturday. So that Friday on the 11th, I stayed up till 2 in the morning. After I got out of work at 9, I stayed up till 2 in the morning, completely overhauling my story to the extreme. And granted, it didn't make much sense to the remaining 3 people that I had on my roster, but it made sense to me. And that is quite literally all that mattered in that moment, because if I understood it, then it's fine. Because before that, I wanted to make sure it was understandable to me and to the actors and everything, because they were going to be obviously looking into it, and the production team was going to be looking into their choreography, or what they needed to record and what they needed to edit and everything. But now it was quite literally just, I need to get these scenes, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to do that, and I'll teach them as they go. Crash course. It was crash course learning, essentially. And surprisingly, I did really good, and it went really good on the 12th. Here's some scenes here and some scenes there. So yeah, there's some scenes there, here and there, and I'm probably gonna put a little bloopers video out for that. I did like the previous one that I had, and I just like to look back on those, you know, recording days pretty fondly and everything, because it's nice. And I hate when there's like, because I got this new kind of like pre-workout. It's like really heavy on the powder, because like there's this like, it's like a stimulant free one, and then there's a stimulant one, and if you mix like, you're allowed to, it explains how you can, and it's helpful if you need it or whatever. And if you mix them together, it's pretty good apparently. I've had it twice and it's alright, you know, I like it. It's certainly no Raise energy, but I mean, it's nice. But it's very like heavy with the powder, so I need to add more water to that. Okay, this is kind of a little bit later, but I just realized raw unfiltered version of this video so far is 19 minutes, and this is just kind of like half of the video, I'm kind of thinking. So I'll try my best to shorten it and just simplify it and everything, so you don't have to hear me just like not mindlessly, but like just kind of talk to the camera for like an hour or something like that. So I mean, granted, it would be nice to, you know, have it kind of like as a, like I explained it before, how it'd be nice to listen to it in the background while you're just kind of doing something, because I am just talking and there isn't much really happening in the background. There's not really much happening in the video throughout. So I mean, it's nice if you just want to listen to it in the background. It's kind of advised sometimes, which soon, that's another thing I wanted to get into, was a podcast that I'm trying to do. So firstly, it was going to be, until I get a bunch of traction for my like sci-fi projects, it would be me essentially just doing like a normal talk show. All right, it'd just be me stringing out my thoughts and rants about certain deep topics, and then me having some other people there to really pick their brain and mix perspectives up, you know. And after a while, and if I gained a lot of traction for my sci-fi projects, and not even just traction, but it would just be a good foot in the door also, just to get, you know, even more growth and a good foundation for my sci-fi projects, would be the like sci-fi audio series that I was wanting to do. So it'd be obviously linked with the Sorrow Shadows the Joy universe, and like Shadow of Vivo, if that's what I'm even going to call it in the future. It'd be linked to the same little sci-fi universe, and it would just have short stories, maybe long stories. You know, it's still a work in progress, but I do have a lot of thoughts and ideas for it, which is nice. Holy crap, I just found this chamoy gummy bear in my pocket. My friend gave me some. I guess I just forgot about it. Yeah, I'm eating it. What did you expect I was gonna do? Throw it away? Lint on it? What? Okay, I'm only gonna eat half, alright. So that was the first problem. Finally, I get through talking about it. So the second problem was, so not only did I have a deadlock of time and I had to completely overhaul the story, then came Judgment Day, essentially, you know, straight up. The 14th came around. I'm not gonna point fingers and say it was so-and-so's fault or so-and-so, or like, oh, well, way back then, so-and-so. No, I'm not gonna play victim in any of this. At the end of the day, you know, I really have to take accountability for the things I do in my life, especially for something that's so deeply personal and connected to me like this. They just basically said it's too violent, it's too focused on violence, it's not gonna get approved. So they disapproved it. They said you can still be in UIL, but you're gonna have to do another film. But they didn't know the deadline was like, you know, literally like a couple days from now, at least, you know, in relative, you know, time. Y'all ever get that feeling when you drink like certain pre-workouts, you get like this, like after you wait like the 20 or 30 minutes, you get this really weird, I don't remember, my dad used to explain it as like, as if it was ants like crawling or biting you or some crap. I know that sounds really like sketchy, but it's like, it feels really weird. It feels like this really slight tingling and burning sensation that kind of like, like you really feel it on my face, and it doesn't hurt, but it just bothers me and annoys me. It just feels super weird sometimes. Some pre-workouts have it and some don't, but like this one, it hits you hard after a little bit. So I'm probably gonna have to go, the only way to like satiate it, I guess, or like really just wear it out, go work out, go do something, you know. So that's what I'm about to do. So yeah, it ended up getting canceled, and I really should have seen that way before. I should have seen that way before, and I should have really explained it. I mean, at the same time, I did explain it, and they thought it was like, oh, it's not going to be too violent. But then when they reviewed, you know, just a few scenes, and I explained it some more, they they looked more into it, and they kind of thought about it more, and they were like, oh, that's too violent. So they ended up disapproving it. And at first I was really, really like beat up about it. I mean, I walked out of the office about to like punch a hole in the wall, but I mean, literally like 5 minutes later, I felt like a lot better, you know, not saying like, oh yes, hooray, I completely failed, and you know, everything that I worked for was essentially for, you know, nothing, I guess, you know, it's essentially just gonna be postponed. But you know, for this little UIL thing, it's essentially for nothing, I guess you could say. But like I said, it's just basically postponed for me, because now I have more time to really do things for it. I have more resources and capabilities now, instead of the restrictions for UIL and the deadline restrictions and everything. So I just have a lot more time. So it's just postponed. And like I said, you know, 5 or 10 minutes after, I honestly just felt a whole lot better, knowing that, you know, I started learning from that failure already. It's not even like the cliche thing of like, oh yes, learn from your failures, never give up. No, I mean, yes, that was a big part of it, but essentially I just started to really think about everything about it, you know. I did like what I would do. I started thinking like, okay, I learned like a lot doing this, and I don't think I would have if I didn't have UIL, like the UIL event, to really lay out certain things for me and really push me to make this film for certain restrictions and certain deadlines and everything. So that was nice. I learned a bunch of things from it. The experience alone was really nice. It really kept me busy, and it really put me on the scene for just pushing myself for more, you know, my drive and motivation, and just towards all my, you know, projects and everything, and even, you know, a little bit of YouTube, because then, you know, yeah, you get it. I even have a little bit more time now, because, you know, the past couple weeks and about a month, I was spending most of the nights, or just kind of like empty time that I had, you know, thinking or planning, and even just editing for certain parts of the movie, which, you know, did take a lot of time. And now I don't have to worry about that no more. I can do more YouTube. I can do some more outlining for more projects. I can do more for, like I said, the pilot trailer, which I need to do, and just all around I can keep doing other things, and it's really nice. So even though yes, it is a really huge setback, and it really does suck that it happened, but at the end of the day, I learned a bunch. And you know, it's best to learn from your failures rather than dwell on them. You know, this is gonna sound like it's common knowledge, but it's just, don't dwell on the mistakes you made. Don't dwell on the failures that you already had. Those things happened, they already happened, and they're in the past. Why are you going to dwell on them and be so messed up about them if they already happened? The only way to keep going is forward. Don't be looking back, because the more you're looking back, you're not going to see what's in front of you. If something great is there, or if there's a brick wall that you're about to hit, that's going to hurt even more. Metaphorically speaking, of course. But yeah, so the best thing to do is just to keep moving forward. You need to keep your, like, if you have a goal and you have something that you're just really passionate about, I seriously and heavily advise, you know, this is the same kind of knowledge and advice you're going to hear from a lot of people, but it's to just don't give up, essentially. And I know as cliche as that sounds, it's the best kind of advice I can give, and I can go on a huge rant about it, but I'll just give some simple words, like I said, about the, you know, metaphor that I kind of made with it. But it's best to just keep looking forward, because like I said, the more you look back at that previous mistake, you know, that you're trying to look back and see how like much of a burning dumpster fire it is. Oh my God, you know, you're not going to see the opportunities in front of you, and if there's something bad happening in front of you, you're going to hit it, and that's going to hurt even more. And you're going to have all these different things piling up inside your brain that you're looking back on with so much regret and so much, you know, negativity that it's not even going to be useful. It's just really problematic for your own brain. So it's best to just, when the failure happens, it's going to be devastating. Sorry, I was getting the little alarm clock, clock kind of went off on its little chime, and then I went to go get some athletic wear. But like I said, you know, also I'm probably going to stop this, because this weird pre-workout feeling is kind of messing me up. But yeah, so that's my little bit of advice. And I understand that sounds just kind of copy and paste from other people's advice, but I'll explain more in another video. Maybe I'll explain it in a short, maybe even on that podcast in the future. But basically, you got to keep moving forward. There's things that are going to shoot on you from the sides. People are going to shoot crap at you. The world's going to shoot crap at you on the sides. But if you really want to look at it, if there's nothing directly blocking you forward, there is no reason why you should stop. Because why are you going to look at the things on the side like, oh wow, look at that, look at this short-term thing, look at this, you know, why are you going to look at this stuff? You have to be really focused in on what's in front of you, not on the sides, both positive and negative. I get it, there's going to be certain things you're going to want to do, and I understand you want to live life, and I understand that you should look at some of the things on the side. It's sightseeing, you want to indulge a bit, I understand, you don't want to miss out on certain things, I get that. But sometimes you have to be willing to sacrifice certain moments and times in your life to really just laser focus in on what's in front of you. And when that's happening, the world's going to throw crap at you, people are going to throw crap at you, but you just got to keep going forward, because those things are not in front of you. They're not blocking you. They're right here. So why are you going to stop and look at these things? You just want to go forward because there's nothing in front of you. There's no reason why. If there is something in front of you, punch through that wall. Put your back into it. Put your arms into it. Come on. Anyways, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, but I need to go seriously go to the little gym here and do some exercises and workouts. So this is Future Lee speaking. This is Future Lee speaking. After I forgot to add a little couple bit of tidbits, but it's been pretty hectic. I've been real tired. I'm kind of starting to get back into a good sleeping schedule. Tonight may throttle it a little bit, considering I'm trying to make this YouTube video. I'm not going to compare myself and say that, you know, I'm victimized or, oh, you know, why is it like this? Like, I know damn well why it's like this, and I understand that it's mostly my fault on why it's like this, or it's the way it has to be at times, because I have to stay up late and I have to be willing to sacrifice some time for this. But at the same time, you have to be careful how much you sacrifice of something, because it can really backfire on you. Especially with sleep. You need sleep. I need sleep. I get really, really annoyed and like really PO'd and just really snotty and real like angry. Just kind of like, I just get really easily annoyed and real ornery and just really PO'd at everything. So I really value my sleep a lot, especially because sleep is great. I love sleep. Not only is just, I love it, but it's great for you. A lot of people don't really utilize their sleep as much as they should, and they don't understand the hidden, you know, like benefits of sleep. You know, it's more than just simple things, but you know, that's all I wanted to kind of add was just the sleeping and, you know, exhausted kind of aspect of some parts of it, because obviously I like to work out, and that really keeps me at bay with some certain things. Something like that. Sorry, I'm still kind of trying to convey my thoughts correctly, especially because I am just settling down from a bunch of workouts I just kind of did here and there. So again, back to the video. Why did it? I'm not even doing anything. How did it start recording? Oh, I bet it's on my hand. Yeah, but where was I? Let's see. Yeah, so I might honestly cut the video here, but you know, the aftermath of what happened, you know, like I said, I have a lot more time, so I've kind of just been, honestly, I'll be straight up, I haven't really been doing much, you know, this week at least. You know, there's obviously a new week and everything, so the 10th. So the remaining days, I haven't been doing much for after the 10th, after it got, you know, disapproved and everything. So I've just been trying to set more different protocols and schedules for myself, you know, in terms of exercising and working out, and just what to do instead of just being complacent, and instead of just playing like video games or just going to YouTube or social media or something like that. So stuff like that. Yeah, I really need to cut the video, because this is really starting to and stuff like that, and I'm focused on this rather than this for a little bit. So I just want to say thank you for watching, and I do apologize again if my thoughts really aren't too coordinated as, you know, maybe in other prior videos, but I think they're more coordinated. And if not, I feel like I'm gonna edit it. You know, every time I do edit, it gets a little bit better. So I feel like if my thoughts aren't coordinated as good, I'll edit them to be a little bit more coordinated. So all in all, I think it's gonna be a pretty good video. But let me know what you think. Give it a like, subscribe if you want to see some more content and just future stuff like this. And if you see the other content that I have, then if you like that kind of content too, be sure to subscribe for that. Comment whatever you want, share it if you like, and I do appreciate just viewing it. Thank you so much for watching and listening It's going to be rants and talk and everything like that. And I will see you in the next one.